Now at 9, the latest on charges filed against a Pineville, Missouri couple in the kidnapping and murder of a pregnant Arkansas woman.
The last jobs report before the midterms dropped Friday. I'm Madler Rivera in Washington with how the economy could impact voters. Coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. Some severe storms moving out of the 4-state area tonight. Meteorologist Doug Caddy joining us now. Doug.
Yeah, we did. We got a few severe thunderstorm warnings earlier this evening. Thankfully, overall, it was just kind of moderate to strong storms, and we got some rain, which we definitely need. Still rain right now, 7th and Range line. High temp was 81. If you haven't been outside, it's significantly cooler right now as a cold front has been working through. But look at the showers and thunderstorms over the past couple hours. All severe weather now is mainly south and east of the region, but we still have this kind of last little band and then the upper level low, which is going to rotate through. But most of us are going to be on a drying trend over the next couple hours. Fort Scott, Nevada, down toward Pitt and Lamar, still picking up some moderate showers across the region. Let's go through time. Here's about 10:30, some light showers along the state line, pushing out. Once we get into after midnight, that upper level low kind of producing some light showers, but temperatures into the 40s. So really cooling down. What about the weekend? We'll look at that here in just a bit.
Doug, thanks as always. The McDonald County, Missouri couple now formally charged in connection with the kidnapping and murder of a pregnant Arkansas woman. KOAM's Shannon Becker has the latest on the charges filed in federal court.
Court papers reveal, filed in federal court, that Jamie and Amber Waterman are being charged with kidnapping with the intent to kill. FBI investigators say Amber Waterman recently created a fake Facebook account of Lucy Barrow, who had offered free baby clothes in a Facebook group post. We know the victim, Ashley Bush, engaged with Lucy, even meeting at the Gravette, Arkansas library, encouraging Bush to interview with her company so she could work from home. The sheriff in McDonald County says sometimes these things are too good to be true because they're not.
Think of it like a con artist. If they're not any good at it, though, the con artist wouldn't be successful. So it was something along those lines where this poor young lady just believed what was being told to her, and unfortunately it was just a horrible thing that happened to her.
Amber and her husband Jamie Waterman are both charged only with kidnapping at this time. However, they will be facing 2 murder charges, and there'll be federal charges. They've just been transferred from the McDonald County Jail to Springfield, being held in federal custody.
Anybody that has a Facebook account probably gets all of these friend requests from somebody who's got 2 pictures and nothing else and 5 friends. So look at that kind of stuff before you just accept somebody's friend request. Don't accept it if you don't know the person.
In McDonald County, I'm Shannon Becker for KOAM News Now.
You can read more about this developing story, including the probable cause statement, on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Almost everyone loves a good burger, right? And even more so if you're getting one, buying one for a good cause. Pittsburgh Fire Department, Pittsburgh Police Department teamed up earlier today for their Badges and Burgers fundraiser. The departments made lunches that included a hamburger, chips, cookie, and drink. Lunch only cost $5, and proceeds went to the Children's Advocacy Center to help survivors of child abuse and investigations.
Now the advocates, these staff members from the CAC, they stay with the children and the families throughout the duration of the entire prosecution process. And so that really allows law enforcement to focus solely on the investigation portion.
Burgers were completely sold out after the event. This means 800 burgers just before 1 p.m. That's amazing. KCU Joplin has started a new program to train its students with the help of actors. The simulated patient program allows students to experience realistic scenarios that they could face on the job site. Actors are trained to portray patients with various illnesses, also injuries. Students are assessed on how they provide care to these actors.
A lot of times we're looking for interpersonal skills, making sure that that the patient feels heard, they're empathetic, they're listening to us, things like that.
The first year, we've typically only really seen like joint pain, ankle pain, arm pain, so on and so forth. We haven't had too much experience with different systems.
Program is going to continue for the rest of this semester. That midterm election is coming up on Tuesday. KOAM teamed up with Gray Television for a series of polls on Missouri voters ahead of this election. One question asked how voters would feel about a candidate for Congress who claims that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from Donald Trump. Now, 24% of Missourians say that would make them more likely to support the candidate. 41% say it's going to make them less likely to support the candidate. 30% said it would make no difference, and the rest were unsure. The poll also asked Missourians how they feel about the Supreme Court ruling overturning the Roe v. Wade landmark abortion ruling. 33% say they agree with the ruling. 48% disagree. Finally, 20% are unsure. You can see the answers break down by demographics and get more poll results over on our website. Again, KOAMnewsnow.com. Tonight at 10, we're going to look at approval ratings for Governor Parson and also Senator Hawley. There's going to be a lot of presidential power on the campaign trail this week, and in particular, 3 of the current and former occupants of the Oval Office are descending in Pennsylvania, showing just how important that Senate race has become. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in D.C. tonight with more.
We're the only nation in the world that's come out of every crisis stronger than when we went in, and we're going to do it again.
Friday, President Biden wraps up a swing through the West and Midwest. On Saturday, he'll head to toss-up state Pennsylvania to campaign with former President Obama. But they won't be the only heavy hitters there. Former President Trump will also campaign in the Keystone State to push for last-minute votes.
I'm asking you to come with me and bring 10 of your friends, because if we're all in, we win.
The Senate race between Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman and Dr. Mehmet Oz shows just how close the battle for control of the Senate is.
There's still a lot of votes out there. Fetterman needs as much help as he can get. That race is tight.
While the president is on a big end of the campaign push, his approval numbers are not helping Democrats.
Approval ratings for Joe Biden are in the high 30s and low 40s. We don't think that candidates are going to be able to get much more than 5 or 6 points above that. That's a red flag, pun intended.
Republicans are believed to have enough support to win the House, but the Senate is still up in the air.
History shows it will be a wave election.
Wow.
The incumbent party has always lost seats in the House. Joe Biden is on his way to a disastrous Tuesday night.
Friday, Oprah endorsed Fetterman for the U.S. Senate seat. Notably, she is the one who helped start Dr. Oz's television career. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
A new jobs report showing America's employers kept hiring in October. It's the final glimpse of the U.S. economy before Election Day, and inflation is the main concern for voters. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera breaking down the report from Washington.
The latest jobs report coming in hotter than expected. 261,000 jobs added in October, a strong showing despite a string of aggressive interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve to cool inflation.
This is a very decent jobs number.
The report offers the last snapshot of the country's economy as millions of voters get ready to cast their ballots on Tuesday. Democrats are quick to tout the labor market's resiliency.
So our economy continues to grow and add jobs, even as gas prices continue to come down. But we got a lot more to do.
But some say a robust jobs report might not be enough to win over voters, with inflation at an annual rate of 8.2%.
They're saying, yeah, I mean, I've got my job. I may have gotten a good raise over the last year and a half, 2 years. But the reality is that, you know what, it's not going as far because inflation continues to be stubborn.
And while job growth beat expectations, there are signs that hiring is slowing down. Last month's numbers are lower than the 315,000 jobs added in September. The unemployment rate also rose from 3.5 to 3.7%.
I think it reflects an economy in transition, and the Fed is in a very, very difficult spot here. We do think that the economy is weakening. It's not getting stronger.
October's jobs report will likely keep the Federal Reserve on track for more aggressive rate hikes. The Fed is hoping to see the labor market soften, a sign that its tighter policy is working. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Clifford Provost served the U.S. Army from 1944 to 45. And we are proud to thank and salute Private Clifford Provost, a native of Coffeyville, Kansas. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Hady's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Pitt State football aiming to earn the outright conference championship and snap a 4-game losing streak against Washburn this weekend. Good to hear from the Gorillas in sports.
Well, of course, we had showers, thunderstorms throughout the afternoon into the evening hours, something we greatly needed. We needed some rain. We need a lot more of it as we are in such a severe drought. The heaviest of the storms are out of the region. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside. of Seneca, Missouri. At the airport in Joplin, not a ton, 3/10 of an inch, but some areas picked up 3-4 inches. So it just depends on where you live on how much rain you got during the daytime hours today. No more watches here. You can see severe thunderstorm watch, still tornado watch back to our south and to our east. Showers, thunderstorms, the back edge kind of right along the state line, and then down into northwestern parts of Arkansas. So Kansas and Oklahoma starting to dry out just a little bit. In fact, most of the rain is out of the metro as well. We can zoom in a bit. East of Fort Scott, Nevada, down toward Lamar, we got this little band that is continuing to rotate through. Still a few showers, Monette, Aurora, down toward Cassville, Eagle Rock, and then a few more popping up just south of Neosho, Pineville, Anderson, into Benton County. Besides that, most of us are looking pretty good, but look at this. On the back side, this is the upper level low. See the blue there? That is actually snow, which is mixing in. So central Kansas up toward KC is going to pick up some snow during the overnight hours. All right, there's this pocket of not much rain right through from Pittsburgh just to the east of Nevada. Parts of southeastern Kansas, 2-3 inches of rain. And then we have pockets of 4-5 inches in southwestern Missouri. So really a wide range across the region. Look at the temperature drop over the past 24 hours with the front dropping through. So 25 to 30 degrees cooler than what we had at this time last night. Still a huge comparison, or really a contrast. 65 in Cassville, and then you got 41 in Yates Center. So temperatures are really dropping and are going to continue to during the overnight hours tonight. We got the rain still. 7th and range line, 52. Humidity, 89%. It's been windy, super windy the past couple days. Still kind of have these winds ushering in out of the north behind the front. At least they're not as bad as what we had earlier for us today. As we go through the overnight hours, the backside of the system just clipping our northwestern county. So if you live in Yates Center, you may get a few snowflakes late tonight into tomorrow morning. We break out, we see sunshine, but it's really not going to warm up much. High temps only about 58, 59 degrees as we head into the afternoon hours. Day planner 41, clouds, then plenty of sunshine, 58 by 5, high temp of 59. Clocks drop back 1 hour tomorrow night, so you actually gain an extra hour's sleep, but it gets dark on Sunday at about 5:30.
Isn't that, we talk about it every year, that, it's catch-22. Mm-hmm. I don't know which one I'd prefer more.
I would prefer to stay on.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't get up early, so I don't care if the sun comes up later.
Hey, that move to make daylight saving time officially permanent, still on hold, by the way. The bill dubbed the Sunshine Protection Act was approved in the Senate earlier this year, but it's stalled out in the House. The Energy and Commerce Committee is still working for votes to get it passed. Agreement on the bill isn't expected, however, before the end of the year, and we have to be passed again in the Senate if not approved this year. Supporters say passing is going to help reduce seasonal depression and let the children spend more time outdoors. Just a reminder, okay, clocks go back 1 hour at 2 a.m. Sunday to resume standard time. Just a reminder, coming up, the upcoming holiday travel season.
Airline negotiations ramp up ahead of the holiday travel season. I'm Marianne Rafferty in Los Angeles. I've got details coming up.
Despite this high inflation, apparently it doesn't look like families are skimping out on gifts this year. The National Retail Federation predicts sales for the November and December shopping months going to be between $942 billion and $960 billion. That's an increase of 6 to 8% compared to last year. Still, holiday sales have already gotten a boost ahead of schedule. That's because many retailers kicked off those sales seasons, if you want to call it that, and kicked those off earlier than usual this year. Pilots at several major airlines ramping up contract negotiations. The disputes come as we head into the busy holiday travel season. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty has more.
It may be the most wonderful time of the year, but the holiday season can also be a nightmare for travelers. This year, contract disputes at 3 major airlines could add to the stress. Pilots at American and United rejected tentative proposals for pay raises this week. And on Monday, Delta pilots voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. After the pandemic led to industry-wide staffing shortages, unions say they want better schedules and higher pay for working overtime.
We know from last summer there was all kinds of problems with luggage and scheduling and cancellations, record cancellations. So the public's really frustrated, but the pilots are frustrated too.
For Delta pilots, there's still a lengthy legal process to go through, including a mandatory 30-day cooling off period. Travel experts say it's unlikely the dispute would impact Thanksgiving travel.
Our goal is not a strike. Our goal is an industry-leading contract, but we are ready and willing to strike today.
But any new labor deal could drive up the cost for airlines. Passengers would see higher airfare as a result. Ticket prices are already up about 43% compared to last year. According to fare tracker Hopper, domestic Thanksgiving flights are costing about $274 round trip. For Christmas, that same trip could cost almost $400. Travel experts recommend booking at least a month before your flight to save the most money. In Los Angeles, Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
All right, still ahead, big changes over at Twitter.
Layoffs have started at Twitter 1 week into Elon Musk's leadership. I'm Connell McShane in New York. Details coming up.
CDC says
a rough morning for some 70
for the flu are the highest they've been in a decade. Let's go through that again. CDC says hospitalization rates for the flu are the highest they've been in a decade. The agency says it comes amid a surge in the common respiratory virus known as RSV. Infectious disease experts say parents should be alert, particularly with very young children, and recommend vaccination against the flu and COVID. Twitter's top executives were the first to go on Elon Musk's first day on the job as a new CEO. A week later, he's now turning on employees and cutting jobs. Fox Business Chief National Correspondent Connell McShane has this story.
A rough morning for some 7,500 Twitter employees who had to wait to see if they still had a job after the company emailed Thursday night warning about layoffs. Twitter reportedly telling staffers that job cuts were necessary to, quote, ensure the company's success moving forward. Layoffs come after some say Tesla CEO Elon Musk overpaid for Twitter when he shelled out $44 billion in a takeover deal.
Every owner of every business gets to decide how many people they deem needed to run that business, and he thinks that because of what's happening out there in the world, it's time.
Other cost-cutting moves include the firing of several top executives and an order for staff to find up to $1 billion in annual infrastructure cost savings. Musk is also hoping to bring in profit. He's expanding Twitter's blue check verification status to anyone willing to pay $8 a month. All the changes, however, are making advertisers nervous. On Friday, Musk said that Twitter is seeing a massive dive in revenue due to concerns over content moderation.
The activist groups have been successful in causing a massive drop in Twitter advertising revenue, and we've done our absolute best to appease them, and nothing is working.
While it's unclear just how many jobs were cut at Twitter, a class action lawsuit has already been filed in San Francisco. It alleges that Twitter violated the law by not providing employees 2 months' notice on planned layoffs. In New York, I'm Connell McShane, Fox Business.
Gonna meet what some believe to be the world's smallest pony. Visit to Germany next. So, National Sandwich Day has come and gone, but Popeyes isn't done celebrating. The fast food chain is giving away free chicken sandwiches. The deal is part of Popeyes' celebrations for National Sandwich Day, which was on November 3rd, and National Fried Chicken Sandwich Day, which is on November 9th. From now until November 9th, customers who buy a chicken sandwich combo can get a free chicken sandwich, okay? You get a combo, you get a free sandwich. Deal is available through the Popeyes app. If you go to the restaurant, you can get it only through mobile order pickup or delivery, by the way. Sandwiches come in classic or spicy options. Sometimes I feel like original, sometimes I feel like spicy. I just had to throw that in there. Popeyes introduced the sandwich back in 2019, and as many of us know, it became an instant national hit. Still popular. If you go to Rangeline to that Popeyes there in Joplin, that's where you're going to be waiting to get in the Popeyes parking lot because of those chicken sandwiches. All right, Shetland pony owner has high hopes that their four-legged friend is going to be named the world's smallest pony. Look at this little guy. Pumicle is a miniature Shetland pony who stands at less than 20 inches tall, weighs about 77 pounds. 77 pounds! That's a lot less than the typical mini Shetland pony at the British Pony Club, by the way, which weighs in at more than 250 pounds. Owner Caroline Weedman plans to submit Pumicle to the Guinness Book of World Records when he's old enough to compete. The current record, by the way, holder for world's smallest pony measures over 22 inches tall. Until he can try for the title, Pumicle visits elderly people and children as a therapy horse. Weineman says Pumicle is a, quote, cuddly pony and an incredible friend. Look at that size comparison. Kind of looks like the size of a dog, big dog, you know. That was pretty cool. All right, 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming away. Pitt State professor being honored as one of the top 2% of scientists in the world.
Ukraine is making slow and steady progress in its counteroffensive, but Russia is showing no sign of letting up on its air assault. Red Belt on Kyiv. That's my story. Coming up.
Pitt State faculty member has received a worldwide award from Stanford University. Chemist is recognized as one of the top 2% of scientists in the world. Big achievement. KOAM's Amber Jenkins explains.
The National Institute of Material Advancement Research Lab has led to the development of countless products and now an award-winning instructor. The executive director says the recognition for Dr. Ram Gupta is well-deserved.
Ram is the backbone of the team on here. His leadership, his creativity, his devotion to the students is amazing.
It is amazing feeling to work with a student. A student comes with sometimes new ideas which we are not thinking about. So they come with the new creative idea. Sometimes we feel, oh, it's a crazy idea, but it works, you know. So getting different perspective from different students is amazing. And I think that's what in research is very important.
Gupta has been bringing more recognition to the Research Center and PSU since 2013. Stanford University list of the top 2% of scientists in the world takes into account the number of publications, citations, and followers of that scientist's work.
It was a great surprise in the sense of just timing. It seemed to come out of nowhere. But on the other hand, when you see it and hear it, you're like, well, yeah, it makes sense.
Ram's research is not just to improve society, but to inspire younger scientists.
Without their support, I think we cannot achieve what we are doing right now.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Dr. Gupta is currently researching materials to build microchips. Congratulations, sir. Some local tech businesses today had the opportunity to show off some innovations in Joplin. The Joplin Chamber of Commerce hosted its 2022 Joplin Regional Innovation and Technology Summit. The summit provides a chance for the tech businesses to hold sessions showcasing their emerging technology, business innovations, cyber resiliency, also digital cities. Well, there are more signs Ukraine could be close to a major victory in the Russian-controlled city of Kherson. Russian-backed officials say they're withdrawing troops, but Kyiv still wary. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Pelcott has more from Ukraine.
Ukrainian troops inching closer to the city of Kherson, a key strategic prize that would isolate Russian troops in the south and put Ukraine within striking distance of the Crimean Peninsula. Russia-backed officials in the city claim they've started withdrawing troops. An announcement met with skepticism by officials here in Kyiv and in the U.S. who say the move could be a trap to draw in Ukrainian troops.
We're seeing Ukraine continue to advance on its counteroffensive. We're seeing Russia shore up its defensive lines around Kherson.
In other areas along the front lines, Ukrainian commanders say the Russians have, quote, tripled the intensity of hostilities, signaling Moscow has no intention of stopping its attacks despite recent battlefield losses. Vladimir Putin once again blaming the West, claiming the conflict in Ukraine was inevitable.
After the fall of the Soviet Union, Western countries interfered in Ukraine's affairs both directly and covertly, which led to the creation of an anti-Russia.
Meanwhile, the UN's nuclear watchdog agency is debunking Russian claims that Ukraine is building a radioactive dirty bomb. Officials concluded their inspections, finding no truth to the allegations, which the West says were designed to draw attention away from the fighting.
They are designed to do one thing and one thing only, which is to distract from his failure on the battlefield. He would prefer the international community to talk about anything else.
On Friday, the Pentagon announced another $400 million military aid package for Ukraine. In Kyiv, Greg Pelcott, Fox News.
Bit later, tips for runners.
They say slow and steady wins the race. Now research shows a steady pace during training can help prevent injuries. I'm Bradley Blackburn with the health advice for marathon season.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a warm day for us today. And then, of course, showers, thunderstorms rolled in during the afternoon into the evening hours. And, of course, even had some strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. Most of the heaviest has been pushing out over the past hour or two, which is good. And at least we got some rain out there. Some areas, not a whole bunch. Other areas, quite a bit. At the airport in Joplin, only 0.3 of an inch. Some areas, quite a bit more than that. No severe threat here from this point on. You can see severe thunderstorm watch east of Springfield, tornado watch north central parts of Arkansas. But again, heading away from us, the heaviest band now out across central Missouri down through central parts of Arkansas. We're right on the back edge, which is now pushing through southwest Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, mainly dry, but you can still see some light showers in Nevada over towards Stockton Lake, down toward Greenfield, just to the west of Mount Vernon near just east of Sarcoxy. And then we can track a little bit farther south. You can see a couple little thunderstorms east of Neosho, one little guy south of Pineville, one to the west of Bentonville. Besides that, it's fairly quiet. We do have the backside of this system that is going to kind of clip our northern counties as it pulls off toward the north into the east over, gosh, about the next 24 to 36 hours. Look at these rainfall amounts. It's kind of all over the place. Some areas, hardly anything at all. We have a stripe here from Bartlesville to Independence, Chanute, all the way up toward Fort Scott, where 2 to 3 inches fell. Another stripe from Springfield, Monette, Aurora, down into McDonald County, also 3-4 inches. Most of Joplin, at least the west side, only about 1/4 of an inch. The east side pushing an inch, so just kind of all over the place. 24-hour temperature change. Check this out. It's almost 30 degrees colder right now compared to what it was this time last night. Look at the colder air working in. We're dropping back through the lower 40s into our western counties, and then you still have Cassville sitting at 65. It is wet. 7th and range line sitting at 49. Easterly winds at about 10. Humidity, of course, is high. Let's go through time. Look at this. This is snow. Quick little band of snow. This is actually probably going to clip Yates Center, maybe as far east as Iola. So if you live out there, don't be surprised if a few flakes mix in tonight. Everybody else just clouds. As we get through about the midday hour, we will get sunshine back. It's going to be cooler than what we saw today. High temps, upper 50s to near 60 degrees. Tomorrow night, southerly winds return. We drop back into the mid 40s. And then look at this. Sunday looks great. We warm all the way near 70 degrees by Sunday afternoon. Clocks drop back tomorrow night. Could get a few showers on voting Tuesday, moving in late Monday into Tuesday, and then thunderstorms again in the forecast on Thursday, and then cooling back down next weekend.
So again, extreme northwest counties.
A little bit of snow.
Just a dusting, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's too warm to stick.
That's still something.
Yeah.
All right, Doug Hattie, thank you so much. All right, coming up for sports, going to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, on the Chiefs matchup this weekend against the Titans. Plus, Pitt State, Missouri Southern football, preparing their final road games of the regular season. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas play their final road game of the regular season tomorrow afternoon. Pitt State is in Topeka Saturday facing Washburn, aiming to stay undefeated this season. That's a big one for the Gorillas, trying to snap a 4-game losing streak to Washburn and beat the Ichabods for the first time since 2016. The Gorillas also have a chance to claim the outright MIAA championship tomorrow. They earned at least a share of the league title in last week's win over Central Oklahoma, but sharing the MIAA championship, not really the goal.
Nobody wants to share anything, especially in this league. So yeah, that brings a lot, and you know, we know we're the top in the league, so we want to make sure and prove it to everybody.
We talked about it after the last game that we have a share of the conference championship, but we didn't come here for a share. We came here to win outright, and our guys have been motivated.
Missouri Southern Lions are also on the road tomorrow afternoon. They got a tough one facing the 11th-ranked Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. The Lions will try to hand the Bearcats their first home loss since 2018. The Southern has lost 3 games in a row, but those 3 losses have been by a combined 10 points. So they know they're getting close to being able to beat the best in the MIAA.
It's hard, you know, I'll tell you. And we do a lot of self-scout. We do a lot of looking inside and what can we do better. And, you know, quite frankly, this is part of the growth pains of having a program. You know, we're facing good teams, you know, and teams that in other conferences could do some damage. And so we just got to keep keep doing what we're doing. We got to play cleaner. We got to find more guys to make some big plays for us. But the big thing is we just got to stay the course.
The Kansas City Chiefs are 5-2 through their first 7 games of the season. Now, last week was a bye week for the Chiefs, but they're back in action this Sunday, hosting the Tennessee Titans. Like we do here every Friday night, it's time now to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
It's back to business in Sunday Night Football against the tough Titans from Nashville. Turnovers, turnover margin, what a team does with turnovers means almost everything in football. In 63 seasons when the Chiefs have scored on defense, they've won 80% of the time. Under Andy Reid, the Chiefs have scored on defense 35 times. They're 29-4 with those 35 defensive scores. We forget, 1 year ago, book to book, the Chiefs were 3-4 after they were clobbered at Tennessee. They were the worst in the NFL at -10 in the giveaway takeaway margin, and Patrick Mahomes had 9 interceptions. Now, this is a cause and effect stat, but the Chiefs started to flip the script 2 weeks ago in San Francisco. Turnover margin this week and beyond. Watch it work on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by KOAM Jewelry. Every day's game day, KOAM Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Now that Chiefs-Titans game will kick off at 7:20 Sunday evening. The Chiefs, by the way, are 12.5-point favorites. Now that's it for sports. Be sure to join us right back here on Fox 14 at 11 for Press Box. That's a 30-minute show. We'll have high school football highlights and scores from all across the area. Plus, Columbus High School head coach Blake Burns joins us in studio to talk about his team's big regional championship win over Galena last night. And we're back after this.
It's fall marathon season with runners gearing up for races around the country, including the New York City Marathon this weekend. But as runners train, there's new advice from doctors about how to avoid injuries along the way. Bradley Blackburn reports.
Maddie Goodman has been lacing up for marathons for years and training on the streets of New York City.
I run like mainly in Central Park.
But this year, as she trained for the Chicago Marathon, she knew something wasn't right with her hip.
I was compensating on other parts of my body on one side because I was having pain in my left hip.
Dr. Brett Torsdahl with New York's Hospital for Special Surgery treated Maddie, one of many marathoners he sees this time of year.
I see a lot of runners with hip problems, knee problems, ankle foot's definitely common.
In a recent study, he tracked hundreds of runners from the New York City Marathon and found conservative training can be key to avoiding injury.
We saw that as runners started to increase their training too quickly, it seemed that they were putting themselves at risk of injury.
He tells runners to make gradual changes during training. Some online training plans push too hard and don't make up for skipped sessions by adding extra long runs.
That's where people started to get injured, when they had a big spike in their training.
Maddie had overused the TFL muscle in her leg, but a cortisone injection helped just in time for Chicago, where she ran a 3:01, her personal best.
I was just totally speechless. I really was like, I think they tracked the wrong runner and it wasn't me.
She's now pacing herself and adding more strength training to get ready for her next race.
Just go out, have a great time, and enjoy.
And be careful how you train.
Be careful how you train, yeah.
Because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That study found that during marathon training, 40% of runners reported injuries, and overly strenuous training can also make runners more vulnerable to infections. Coming up, going to preview some upcoming holiday movies. The holiday season means moviegoers are going to have a lot to choose from at the theaters. The next 2 months bring giant blockbusters, potential awards contenders, and animated adventures for the kiddos. But take a look at some of the films along the way. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
He's coming. November, return to Wakanda with Marvel's Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
I'm happy to say that they do deliver on it being one of their best sequels that they've ever made. Of course, this film is wrapped around just a big tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who we sadly lost in between installments, but it's also fun and exciting and powerful.
There's much buzzed about Bones and All with Timothée Chalamet and Taylor Russell.
It's a love story / thriller set in this world of cannibalism.
Thanksgiving finds Steven Spielberg's autobiographical The Fabelmans, sci-fi animated adventure Strange World, war drama devotion with Top Gun Mavericks Glenn Powell and Jonathan Majors as Jesse Brown.
The historic black naval aerial pilot during the Korean War, and him and his wingman went on an impossible mission. It's Christmas!
December brings Violent Night.
The first week of December starts with a holiday-themed release about Santa Claus with kind of a stranger R-rated twist.
It's sort of like Die Hard meets Home Alone with David Harbour.
Put the 3D glasses back on for James Cameron's Avatar: The Way of Water.
I think people are really going to wrap their arms around this and discover something that they remember from 2009, or maybe even something that they've never experienced before in a movie theater.
You start the show tonight.
Then among movies rounding out the year, the Whitney Houston biopic, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
This is going to show you how all of those hits came to be as it tracks her throughout her career.
For the kids, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
This one I think will come along just at the right time as kids are off from school and need something to do.
It's all so cute.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That Avatar movie seems pretty good. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Gonna leave it tonight with video of some hippos at the Cincinnati Zoo posing for cameras. That's right. Strike the pose, strike the pose. Have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.